All right, so we are almost at the end of the year. So we got this week, we got next week, and then we are done, which is exciting. As much fun as this working from home thing has been, I'm happy to be done with the year and move on. So I hope that you guys are too. All right, let me share my screen. Oh, and I have gotten a couple people asking me if we have class next week. We do. It'll basically be an extension activity. It'll have to do with this story. Even though we're going to be basically done with it this week. So yes, we do technically have class next week. How many of you I will see, we'll see. All right. So week 8, standards and learning targets. Just want to fly through these really quickly before we begin. So our standards for this week, we got 2 main ones, point 2 and point 3 for reading literature. Point 2, as it's been for the past couple weeks, is determining a theme or central idea of a text and analyzing the way that the author develops it throughout, including how it emerges and is shaped and refined by specific details. Point 3 is analyzing how complex characters, so in this case we've got 2. We've got Waverly, who is our protagonist, and we got her mother. We're going to analyze how those characters develop over the course of the text. So as we get further in, how do they change? How does their relationship change? How does that relate to the theme? As far as learning targets go, we got 3 of them. We're going to cover the first 2 in class. The third one's going to be part of your independent work for this week. First one, I can develop a thematic statement from an analysis of Amy Tan's rules of the game. So our goal today is going to be to come up with a theme. Last week we had dabbled with this. We're going to come up with a more concrete theme today. Second learning target, I can identify an important event in the story and analyze how the event develops the theme. And then number 3, I can analyze how Waverly's changing interactions with her mother develop her sense of self. All right. So that third one here, we're for your independent work this week, you're going to be focusing on the relationship between Waverly and her mom and how that changes and just the way that you can characterize it. All right, so you'll probably have noticed that I didn't post anything yet. I didn't forget, I just didn't yet. After class, after my afternoon session, I will post everything that you need. Your assignments for this week are going to be a graphic organizer, which we're actually going to do a similar version of it in class today. And then you have a quick grade. As far as grades, I'm almost caught up grading assignments. I just haven't put them into PowerSchool yet, but that is 100% happening this week. So your grades will be updated. All right. Any questions about anything before I start? Okay. All right, so you all should have this open, the actual story document. Now, in the chat, I want you to be honest with me. Did you read this yellow section or not? Because that'll determine if I give you time to do that right now. So this section highlighted in yellow, did you read it? Okay, I got 1 no. Any other no's? Okay. So I'm going to give you guys...
Xavier, you sent it to me.
What's up?
I said Xavier sent his answer to me.
Okay. So that's fine. So I'm going to give you guys some time right now to read through this. I only need you to read through the yellow section. I'm going to check back in about 7 minutes. And then once we have that read, we'll be able to zoom through what we need to do today. Okay. So I'll be right back. Give you guys about 7 minutes, and then we will get started.
First of all, how you gonna go down and get some dogs and you got a small compact car?
If we give you guys about 5 more minutes to read this section in yellow, and then we will get going. For those of you who have just come in, right now we're reading through the yellow section of rules of the game. Got about 3 more minutes. Then we'll begin. One more minute. All right. If you haven't quite gotten through it yet, that's okay. As long as you have the first half of that done, that's really what we're gonna be focusing on today. Wait, so last night when I was going through this, I just wrote a couple notes down of some things I just want to cover with you guys. Just to make sure we have a good understanding of this portion of the text. Could someone summarize out loud for us what this yellow highlighted portion is about? What's going on in the story?
It's talking about how when she first got into chess, all the things she did and how she won and what she learned from it.
Okay, so we see a lot about Waverly learning chess. What are some of the things in these first couple paragraphs here that we learn about the town and their culture?
That is very different from American culture.
Okay, how so?
Like she was saying about Christmas, like she was saying, like she told Santa that it's like Americanly that she's like 7, but Chinese she's actually 8. So like it's like kind of different for her, and like with different holidays and stuff.
Okay, so we got different holidays. We got one example with the age, the difference in calendars between the American calendar and the Chinese calendar. Good. And what's going on with Waverly and her mom? What's going on with that relationship? How would you characterize her? How would you describe it?
Her mom is too controlling
Okay, why?
because like it was like near the ending, like she lost like 11 pieces, and her mom told her to like win more pieces and like stop losing so many pieces.
Right. Good. Exactly. So we have her mom here who even when Waverly's playing chess, right, she always has input. She always has something that Waverly could do better. So would you say that their relationship is positive? Like how would you characterize it? I don't want to say too much where I kind of like back you into an answer that I'm looking for. But is this a good relationship? Is this a relationship that needs improvement, and why?
I say it's a love and hate relationship.
Okay. Could you explain a little bit?
So basically, like was like how you was saying, like she basically lost her pieces to her chessboard. Her mom was telling her to like earn the pieces back. Cause she like as she lost the pieces, she was teaching her daughter as a lesson. So like you can't lose the pieces to the chess, and like it's like it's saying like it's just he teaches her a lesson of like what to do, and that it's like shows love that she knows that her mom cares about her and stuff like that.
Okay. Does anyone have a different point of view on the relationship or would like to expand on that? All right, that's okay. Okay, so there are two things that I really want to focus on with this particular section of the text, and that's identity and expectations. And I'm going to type them into the chat real quick so that we're reminded as to what we're looking at. Where's the chat? Where'd it go? Right there. Okay. So we're focused on identity and expectations. Let's go through these one at a time. Why do you think we're focused on identity in this particular section? Why are we focused on identity? Or what in this section is discussing identity?
It's focusing on identity because when she's talking about the rules of the game, if she first said it, her mother first said it as American rules, and then she went on to learn Chinese rules.
Okay. So how is that relating to identity for for our main character?
Because she's trying to learn the difference between whether she's Chinese or American.
Okay, so we've got this conflict that we had touched on last week. This cultural conflict between American culture and Chinese culture. All right, that's good. What's a good example of that clash besides what Xavier said with the calendar? Look at these first couple paragraphs here. What is going on in these first paragraphs that really highlight this culture clash? And I guess I'm going to narrow this down a bit for you. I want you to focus on the Santa Claus. How does the Santa Claus episode highlight this culture, highlight this identity focus in the text?
Oh, but she was saying like she was saying like he was asking if she believed in the Santa was asking if she was a good girl this year and did she believe in Jesus Christ, and
Okay.
she was saying she just nodded her head back as equally. So basically, she really, I mean, you can say that she really does believe in Jesus Christ or whatever, but like she really doesn't know she believes in him and stuff.
Okay. So why did that particular thing stick out to you? Because it's not like she says here, oh, I don't believe. What about the way that it's written suggests to you that there's some type of conflict or some type of uneasiness here? Because you are absolutely right. But what about the way that it's written? So he says, I said, I was born on March 17th, 1951. That seemed to satisfy him. He then solemnly asked if I had been a very, very good girl this year and did I believe in Jesus Christ and obey my parents. I knew the only answer to that. I nodded back with equal solemnity. What about the tone of that or just the way that it's written suggests to you a conflict?
I mean, she seems like so calm about it, like she almost doesn't know what to really say to him.
Okay, so she's calm. Tayshawn said, I think she doesn't know what to believe in. Okay, and how do you know that, Tayshawn? I agree with you, but I'm curious as to why you think that. And while she's typing that, because I assume that that's what she's doing. So just to summarize really quick, we've got the American versus Chinese calendars. We got the moment where they're citing Jesus, which of course is a Christian figure, and you might not expect that in like a Chinese culture, depending on the religion. Oh, good. Tayshawn said because she doesn't know if she wants to answer. Okay, so we've got a bit. She knew the only answer to that, right? So it's implying that there's only one way that conversation could go because of what her mother believes. Okay, so you can make the argument that Waverly is being influenced by her mom's beliefs and her mom's culture, right? Because she knew the only answer. And when you're a kid and you know the only answer to something, that implies that that's what you were taught, right? So good. So identity is one piece that we're going to focus on this week for this particular text, but also expectations. Why expectations? Why is that a focus in this yellow section? Now let's kind of turn to when she's learning chess and she's playing it, she's getting good at it. What in that scenario has to do with expectations? And what type of expectations are we talking about? So her mother wants her to be the best. Okay, so we've got the expectation from Haverly's mom for Haverly's performance in chess. Absolutely. What other expectations besides those that come from her mom? Try to think a little bit broader. Remember that in the very beginning of this story, we got a very lengthy description of the San Francisco Chinatown and the society that they live in, the people that they live around, things like that. So if you go back to this chess idea, and when she's learning chess and she's winning championships, how does the town react? And could you point us to a particular piece of evidence? And that's for everyone. How does the town react?
The town reacts by making her a cake and wanting to sponsor her.
Right. So we've got where as soon as she's starting to win, we've got the bakers making her cakes, we've got sponsorships. Good. So the community is reacting how then? How would you describe their reaction?
That they cherish her and want her to be like the final hope for them getting out the dirt.
Okay. So Tyler, then how would that relate to expectations?
It relates to expectations because everybody expects her to be the best and get all of them out of the situation that they're in now. When if she lets everybody down, they look
Okay.
down on her.
Okay. Let's focus on that first part especially. So once you get good at something, right? There becomes an expectation that you're going to do that consistently, right? There comes an expectation that when you are good at something, you are good at it, and therefore you will always be good at it. Have any of you ever had your parents expect you guys to do something to a certain quality?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
What's an
Yeah.
example?
Me staying on honor roll and getting better grades.
Okay. What else?
Me playing sports,
Okay. How so?
like I mean, they don't expect me to win every time, but like they expect me to like be like in top like 3 or like top 5, whatever.
Okay. Right. So if you're good at sports or if you're good at school or whatever it is, there becomes this expectation that you're going to at least hit a certain bar, right? A certain amount of quality. So that's exactly what we're seeing here, right? As you guys said, we've got her mom, and her mom has expectations for how she's going to play chess. She gives all these pieces of advice. How does her mom wait? Because I was reading the rest of it yesterday. I want to make sure. Never mind. That's for later. Okay, so we got identity, we got expectations. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. So we're gonna take a look at this real quick. I'm gonna send you a link. Is that the link? It is. Oh, it's not who I'm. Yep. Okay, open this document up. Just have it open in front of you, please. We're gonna do this all together as a giant group. Be able to get it done pretty quickly. What was that? All right, so open this document up, Central Ideas Theme Tracking Tool. One of your assignments is actually pretty much one of these. The focus will just be slightly different. So this will actually be good practice for that. So once you have it open, take a moment, read the directions again, though, like I said, we're going to do this together. I would like to have us all having it open. So I see Tyler's on here. We get a couple more of you guys. The link's in the chat. All you have to do is click it. Xavier, you're in there. All right, while you guys are getting in here, I'm going to start to explain what we're going to use this for. So as you can see, there are 8 spots here. We're probably not going to use all 8 spots, and that's absolutely fine. But what this is for is to help us come up with a theme. What's the difference between a central idea and a theme? We've talked about it plenty of times. So by now we should have a pretty good idea of what the difference between them is. So how would you describe the difference between a central idea and a theme?
A theme is like the tone or the meaning of the whole story in general, and then the
Meaning, okay.
central idea is like one of many ideas that you can get from the text.
Good. So a central idea is like a subject or a topic. It's what topic is the story or the poem addressing, right? And a theme, like you said, is the overall meaning. It's what the author's trying to teach us about that topic. So when I said to you guys that we're focused a lot on identity and expectation, right? Those are 2 examples of central ideas or topics, right? That's what these are the 2 topics that the story is overwhelmingly focused on. What we're going to do with this right now is we're going to come up with a theme, all right? So make sure we have this open. Tayshawn, Allison, Kamari, please open this up. Your participation with this is going to be your credit for the class. All right. So, like I said, we discussed those 2 central ideas, identity, expectation. And so what I want to do right now is take a moment and find examples of where these appear in the text. So we're going to actually just do 4 of them. We're going to do 2 identities and 2 expectations. All right. So what I want you to do is just pick one. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who does what, but just pick one. And I want to see everyone participating in this document right here. You're going to choose one, identity or expectation, give a quote that of a moment that shows it, and just explain a bit as to how it shows it, why, and why that's a good example. All right. I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes. I'm hoping I see all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 5 of you participating. And then
I gotta re-download Google Docs.
Yep, that's fine. And then we'll go over it. We'll come up with a theme, and then we're done for the day. Okay. I'm gonna give you guys about 5 minutes. Be right back, and we'll discuss. Feel free to help each other out.
Hold on, I need the laptop now.
Yeah, it's easiest to get this done on the laptop.
It really is.
No rush. And make sure that we're really taking time on that notes and connections part. Just explain yourself as thoroughly as you can. Really good work so far.
Well, hold on, can I just copy and paste the
The
quote
quote?
I want to use? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, just
Nice.
just make sure you quote it and do the citation.
Now, how would the citation part work? Because I don't know what paragraph I'm on.
So I'm not so worried about paragraph when it comes to a short story. So you're gonna look at page number. Just go by like the number as they appear. So the first page, obviously page 1, page 2. So you just count from there.
Okay.
So last name and then page number. And when you finish yours, you're good to sit tight. We'll go over them momentarily. Check in about 3 minutes. Give you another minute, and then we'll go over it. All right, looks like we're all set. So we're just gonna go down the line. I just need you to introduce your quote and explain to me how it relates to either identity or expectation. So Xavier, we'll start with you, and then we'll just go down the line.
All right. The question I say was when I was 7, according to the American formula. Uh, yeah, and by 8 in the Chinese calendar. So basically, it shows that she has 2 different ages from the 2 different cultures she's a part of, and so it shows her identity because, like we were saying, like last lesson, that she can use like both her identities for different things, like that she needs to. So um, like say if she knows like a Chinese person or whatever, and like she can use her identity for that, and like for like American things, she can use her other identity for that. So like she has kind of like a benefit for using like identity, like having 2 identities basically.
Good, good job. All right, next one, expectation. Tyler, that's you, right?
Yeah. Uh, my mother placed my first trophy next to the new plastic chess set that the neighborhood told society had given me. As she wiped each piece with a soft cloth, she said, "Next time, win more, lose less. Ma, it is it's not how many pieces you lose." I said, "Sometimes you need to lose pieces to get ahead. Better to lose. See if you really need." And then I said, this connects to expectations because her mother wants her to win but lose less pieces involved, growing the expectation that she needs to win all the time but lose less.
It's good, absolutely. So we got that expectation from her mom, what she expects from her as far as her chess performance. It's good. Kamari.
Okay, I said the quote. I said I was born on March 17th, 1951. That seemed to satisfy him. This connects to identity because it shows like how 2 different cultures intertwine with each other, and how Waverly has 2 different ages and 2 different calendars that interacts with her in her everyday life.
Good. And other examples, just like in the same paragraphs that you could have went with, is the interaction with the Santa Claus, this
Yeah.
idea that a Chinese family is in a Baptist church, which is kind of weird to me. It's just not expected, right? So yeah, there's a lot there that you could have chosen for identity, so that's good. Tishan, expectation. Is there a way that you could talk us through it?
Well, I said they would have American rules. If I lost, I would bring shame on my family. It's shame you fall down. No one pushed you, said my mother. I said that I wrote that because it's an expectation. Her mother thinks that if she loses, everybody will see that she's a loser of the family, and everybody will think that she's no better than anybody else.
Good. So this idea of shame, it's funny that you mentioned that because it's almost like a stereotype of Chinese culture, right? We all have this image of the Asian family that has these like super high expectations at all times, and if you don't meet them, then you bring a shame to the family. The extent to which that's true, I mean, in my life, I've had Asian friends whose parents were like that, and I've had Asian friends whose parents weren't like that. But that's a good example because this idea of shame of not meeting expectations and almost having like a punishment for that, that really relates to that concept. That's good. I like that. All right, so we've got all of our examples of identity and expectations. So really quickly, as a class, we're going to come up with a theme, and then we're done. So again, like Tyler said, the theme is the meaning of the text. So we're trying to figure out what exactly about identity and what about expectation the author's trying to tell us. Now, ideally, you want to combine the two into a single theme. Now, I wrote down last night what I think, but I'm curious as to what you guys think. What is the author, Amy Tan, trying to teach us about identity and expectation through this story?
That you really should just expect to be yourself, choose what you want to do, and have no regrets about it.
Okay, so let me write that down real quick. Choose. People should be able to choose who they want to be and not have regrets. Okay. Any other ones? Any other ideas? I like that Tyler's was in a full sentence. That's good. I'm curious if we can get a couple more before we cap it off. What we got? Tishan says the theme is that there are different people with different views of the world and rules. Okay. There are different people with different views on the world and rules. Okay. Let me get one more and then I'll tell you what I think. So we're trying to combine this idea of expectation with identity. Any other ideas? All right, no, that's fine. Okay, so let me go over what I think. Now, what I think is not necessarily 100% true. The crazy thing about theme is that no matter how much you practice it, you never really get super good at it. And what I mean by that is that coming up with a theme in a single sentence, depending on the story, is sometimes hard. So I have a couple that I kind of tossed around last night. So I'll read a couple of them off. So a couple of ideas that I had with this particular section of text. To develop individuality, one must challenge cultural expectations. So the reason why I say that is because we've got this character, and if you read the story all the way to the end, we see Waverly start to kind of come into her own. She challenges her mom, right? So by challenging her mom, and her mom is representing that Chinese culture and the expectations that come with it, it's at that point that she's able to become an individual. And so that's why I said that. Alternatively, one must understand the rules if one is to develop as an individual. You could even expand it to saying, well, one must understand the rules of the game, and that integrates that title in there too. Really quickly, what do you think what is the game that we're talking about? Now that you guys have a better understanding of the story, what is the game? I mean, obviously chess, right? But beyond that, what's the game? The game of life. Okay. So experiencing life, especially from the point of view of a minority, right? It's good. Yep. Okay. So those are my thoughts. It doesn't necessarily mean that mine are 100% right. What I like about these two, so the first one, people should be able to choose who they want to be and not have regrets. I definitely think you can expand on that, and you can definitely, obviously that's about identity. You can easily get expectation in there too, because what Tyler's implying there is you don't necessarily have to meet the expectations, right? You can do what you want. And then Tayshawn's, there are different people with different views on the world and rules. I would maybe expand that a little bit. So we know that there are different people with different views, and what are we trying to learn about those different ideas and views? But I think this is a good start as well. And then you got my idea as well. I'll write one of those down just so that you guys have them. To develop as an individual, one must challenge cultural expectations. Oh, and then Tayshawn, that not everyone's going to stay quiet. Good. There are different people with different views in the world and rules. Not everybody is going to stay quiet. Good. That's a lot better. All right. Yeah. With mine, me and Tyler are basically saying the exact same thing. I'm just using the words individuality and cultural expectation. But besides that, it's basically the exact same thing. As far as events, I think you guys, we've talked about them. Obviously, you could talk about her experience in the church, the episode with the Santa Claus, how her mom reacts to her playing chess. If you read further into the story, eventually Waverly has enough of it. She has an outburst with her mom, and that creates kind of like a rift. Notes and connections, we've kind of already talked about it, so I don't think we necessarily need to fill those out. So you have these three as a reference. Now, are these the only three that you could possibly come up with? Absolutely not. The cool thing about theme is that it's pretty limitless as far as like possibilities. So like I said, the two assignments for the week are going to be, you're going to have basically another one of these. It'll look exactly like this, but it'll be a different central idea, and it's going to be on the last little section of the text.
But I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Will we have work next week?
So do I have to provide work? The answer to that question is yes. But last week of school, right?
Perfect.
So you guys do whatever you need to do, but yes, there will officially be work. But it won't be about this story though. It's going to just be extension activities, because I'm done. I'm out of stuff basically, as far like we've done everything that we need to do after class next week. So you guys will get like some extension, maybe some articles related to like the current political climate or something like that, but it won't be related to this story. And you guys have a quick grade too. Any other questions?
Quick what?
Yes. Quick grade on this.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
You guys gotta get your writing practice in. Let me screenshot you guys real quick.
Trust me. Next year,
Wait, who's all in here?
we're gonna have Miss Sue next year. Of course, we're gonna have to need
Either
that.
Sue or Mr. Ball.
Who is Mr. Ball? Oh, is that one with the glasses?
Yeah, it's the one with the glasses and the mustache.
Listen,
I hope
you're
I
part
get
of
Miss
Mr.
Sue.
Ball. Isn't that great?
You guys will have fun.
I know.
I had fun with Miss Sue because I had her third hour.
Yeah, and then you guys will never have to deal with me ever again.
Nah, you
Oh no,
girls be dealing with me.
10th grade year is gonna be better than 11th grade year.
I'm telling you.
Well,